Hi YouTube, excuse me. I have another video uploading. It's a 2-minute 27-second one. On my phone, it always takes forever. It just doesn't make any sense. Even when we had worse internet service than now. But like, I don't know. It's a Samsung Galaxy, but oh, I don't know if you can. Yeah, see, it's just says uploading. Before it said 3%. Now it says 87 megabytes. So there's 258 megabytes and 87 of them are uploaded. That's just crazy though. Like on my laptop it'd take for that probably I probably wouldn't even be done. I mean, I'd type out the title to it and it would be on there by then, ready to go. And then when I share it to Facebook, if it's a short one like that, I don't even have to pull up a link. It just automatically, like, want to share this? It's like, yeah, for the short stuff. So, from what I've experienced. So, I moved around some of my plants today, and yeah, it's about really all I've been doing is monkeying around, nothing too serious, not even my exercises today. I just, when you don't feel like it, don't push yourself. Just don't drop it. If you go for more than 3 days, force yourself, unless you're injured, don't, you know. I do have injured spots I stay away from. I try not to put stress on those bad areas, so like if you've had nerve damage or that type of thing. So yeah, keeping strong around our boo-boos when we get older, especially if you've been kind of an active person. You do pay for it. You really do. You see, like these little old men or women, they might have been tall at one time, but you see them just like, especially like farmers, we used to see like their backs just hunched over from the excruciating work. Either you're sitting long periods in the day, or if you get up, you feed the animals. Then you got to clean after them. Then you got to plant your crops, harvest your crops, fix your fence, fix your roof. I mean, it's just like one thing right after another. When you live out in the country anyway, even like on a hobby farm or something, um, it's a never-ending story to be, um, well, semi self-sufficient. you know, there's a lot of things that we have set for harder times if that comes, and I know I'll be more comfortable than most people, Doug and I, because we do some really extraordinary things and are capable of doing a lot of things when nobody else will be able to. So, yeah. I mean, our immediate neighbors, and Doug was just talking about this today. The only farmland we have around us now, we put a stop to somebody driving up our hill, and he was putting poison on there. That was like over 30 years ago now. And it was poisoning the whole waterway down into the lake, into the Mississippi eventually, into the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, this is no joke when people like us put a stop to that type of thing. And there's nothing but hay fields all the way around us. And I planted several different types of seeds like Kentucky bluegrass, Kansas red, and then there's and rye. I have a great big patch of rye, and that's in a whole bunch. Then there's like red clover, white clover, Timothy grass, all kinds. I mean, the mixture, and then the natural grasses around here. So yeah, it's plentiful. and it's clean for at least a square mile, probably a lot. I don't know. I think it's probably about at least 5 miles that way, and they have soybeans. And the other direction, not so much. It's all about 5 miles away at least, going more south and southeast. So, yeah, we've got a lot of clean waterways going further north. You get further south, and then you have more population of people. And yeah, it's worse. So, anyway, yeah. Oh, I looked up something this morning. Doug was talking about all our police have United Nations uniforms in case they have to um, unite, you know, in America here. Well, from what I could tell, of course, the internet said no, and independently, the 10th Amendment forbids any outside military force to work in tandem with ours. It's illegal. If they do it, they're treasonous, and the United Nations is a outside entity, and I'd rather not even be affiliated with them. Um, and really, only our state senators, Congress, and the Supreme Court. Those are the only people in their little um, buttlings. For there you go. That's a good new term for them, or the bendovers. Yeah, we'll just call them the bendover people if they're willing to do that either direction. You know, if you bend over backwards or frontwards, whatever they do to bow to their master, you know. So, anyway. Yeah, so anyway, I looked it up, and it is against the law. It would be treasonous, and the only, like the Secret Service and the FBI and different things. And it didn't say anything about the CIA in there, which even on Wikipedia, um, but they're considered above uh, the other government forces. The FBI is, if they have to take control over a situation, is what this said. So whatever. And there was a lot more too. But I looked, and no, from what I could tell, and I even looked up specifically, is there in the United States, is there any uniforms that are of, the United Nations? Are they kept at like each precinct or whatever, and I couldn't find anything on that. I did find that there was different states independently, that how they worked with the United Nations, and it didn't say what states. It gave a, for instance, oh, like within Washington D.C. or whatever. But anyway, some of these government police forces um, have the ability to go and help out the United Nations, and not all states are doing that. But like I said, there wasn't a list. So it was just really weird. That part of it was really weird. It was like, I could have watched more videos, I think, like on the United Nations website, but it's just like, no, I'm not watching your stupid videos. And I read what was available to me there, and yeah, I pretty much knew most of it, but yeah, and I know they do whatever the so-called globalist or whatever, the global-minded people or whatever, they're gonna do what they want to do anyway. So think I got a mosquito bite this morning. I'm gonna put some of my calamine lotion right here. Just a minute, not to be rude, people. Or I'll just shut you off, but I'm sure you'd rather tolerate me putting medicine on, for a second here. I could go off camera, but I'm only human. You know what the hell? And it's itching like crazy, so no. I'm not gonna sit here or shut it off and get back on. It's like that's just flippin' stupid, you know. Reminds me like when I was a teenager, these girls that wouldn't eat in front of boys. I go, oh yeah, you don't use the bathroom, you don't eat, nothing normal like that, you know. Silly, silly shit. you know. Anyway, people are. Well, yeah, self-conscious, Shit. I couldn't afford to have an ego. I had to live, I had to save my life too many times to worry about my ego, you know. So, taking drastic measures several times, So, that's called the snake plant, that big one, um, or mother-in-law tongue, and it's got a Latin name too that I'm not gonna bother to memorize, I did enough of that, you know. People that have dealt with um, in the medical field at all. If you've had any of that training, you took a bit of pharmaca, a bit of pharmacy knowledge, the first level, unless you go deeper into like nursing or your doctorate or, medical doctor, then you should, by the time you get done, you'd be pretty fluent in Latin, you know. Latin is a big part of the King James. Greek. If you looked into Latin and Greek and what the people who added vowels and left out vowels um, did, it's a whole nother story. And people's names have been changed and stolen, and um, identities, whether and genders. I mean, all the crazy stuff that really went on that people are getting to the bottom of. There's people that are like hound dogs with that. We know the Spirit of God works in us. We know that we have a creator and we believe in the Christ Spirit. And we're out to prove the history of mankind's first recognition of that and how it was documented in any way around the world. And there's probably, well, I know there's thousands for sure. Millions are curious, if not more. And anyway, you see what I mean? But people that actually go so far as to study other languages and cultures and proof, get the documentation of the actual heritages involved in those times and coming back with the proof for people. That's all we want. We just want the truth, you know. I often wonder how it would have changed my life if I had known my heritages from the beginning and not told that I was just one thing, you know. I wonder how that would have formed my life or if it would have any different at all. I think it might have in some ways, you know. I probably would have been in Canada where I've been invited to have citizenship through the Algonquin related tribes up there. Or I should say tribe, a Cree tribe that are my relatives. That would be interesting. It is pretty up in that area. In fact, where I want to be in Minnesota, up by Lake Superior, is just right below where they are. And some of their bloodline is in a little town called Grand Portage, and it's so pretty around there with all the mountains and the woods and the waterfalls going down into that great lake. It's just, oh, I love it. That's where I really want to be. I go there as much as I can, whenever I can. So I do want to go up there. You've seen a lot of cars in our yard. Yeah, that's what we do. We have a body shop that actually has one customer car in it right now and a custom VW Bug. And I'm thinking, do I want to go up around the lake in the Bug or in a convertible? So, but I'm thinking I want to go up there before summer ends. So I don't know for how long. I'm thinking just get up super early and cruise up there and spend time by the lake, kind of maybe nap, because it's going through Duluth to get there, and you can only go alongside the mountain and the lake. That's it. Um, so once you get up there and you wind around the lake, and I got to go further north to get out of the city up there, and then I'll be kind of where I want to be, kind of. Usually we end up a lot of times in this place called Silver Bay, and it is just like the name says. The um, minerals and rocks around that bay, every other place on the lake looks blue or clear. You can see right down to the bottom, except Silver Bay is really weird. It is because of the sand, the color of the sand. So, yeah, the geography makes it look different. It's not my favorite color for water, so I mean, it's okay and it is pretty. And it does kind of look blue. It just kind of has like a silverish hue to it. It always has, you know, as long as I remember, you know. Oh, I don't think that we need to worry about United Nations uniforms in local police officers' lockers when all they have to do is band together with the National Guard in any branch of military. I don't think that I would really worry about an outside entity um, when our own can go cuckoo. So, yeah, I mean, doesn't matter what they look like if they're trying to make you do something against your will. I don't care what uniform they're wearing, you know. I have to decide, do I fight or run, you know, because I'm not going with them. That's, you know, like if they were going down the road with tanks rounding people up, I'd have to head for the woods, you know. Yeah. What else do you do? I'm not going with them. Hell no. Or I would fight them. One of the two. But nobody's doing. But anyway, it's all fear tactic bullshit out of this person that I live with. Isn't it, Doug? Yeah, I know. I mean, eventually they plan on doing these things. They absolutely, ouch, do. My knee just cracked by itself. It's like, what do you think you're doing? You know, Probably because I've been super active, you know, today. Well, usually it's hard for me to sit still. Yeah. Anyway, That did hurt a little bit. I do have osteoarthritis, and if I move just wrong or something, sometimes things happen to me. My bones, they rub together, the cartilage starts wearing down, and oh well. And that's the part, we degenerate. Not maybe not with our minds, but yeah, I'm pretty sure by the time we can't talk anymore, um, we'll be pretty close to God. He's like, you're done talking. You've said enough. I know some people he did that to before they left this world. That would be a scary thing to be not be able to communicate in your last years for some people. Wow, you know. And elder abuse is a thing, you know. I've seen people younger abuse. I've seen like some really horrible children to wonderful parents and vice versa. I've seen a lot. But geez, you know, I did have horrible things happen, and I still don't talk to people like I've heard some people say. Doug was working with a guy that his dad had bought him a shop, gave him like, well, I don't know, money to buy like super Hemis and other classic cars to fix up and sell. And he told his father in front of Doug, why don't you just take a big cup of shut the F up to his own dad? And his dad kept this punk afloat when he wasn't working and he was playing his stupid baby Mason games. They each have their own. They pretend like they work, but they don't want to work, and that's the problem. It's like I've worked for people that own their own businesses and they don't want to work themselves. And they just want that slave and they fail. If you're not really, really big, you're gonna, and you don't want to work yourself, you're gonna fail. You know, that's the way that goes. I've seen quite a few people not make it because of that reason, because they're lazy. So, takes a lot of ambition to just, um, well, you got to earn money one way or another. So you're either working for somebody or yourself. And I don't like to be bossed around by nobody. And I became an entrepreneur when I was a youngster, many times different things. But yeah, I've never really been one to conform. So I'm not just out here talking. Sure, I've had a lot of jobs, and a lot of those jobs were just to get money to buy like tools or something to put me in place of something that I really wanted to do, you know. And I did that a lot in my life. So quite a bit. Or like I was working fast food when I was going to dealer school, just well, I had to have money for the classes, but you know, but yeah, I had to take care of myself no matter what it took. I'd done all kinds of things, so, which is good. It's been an adventurous life. I am an adventurous person too. I like to see new places, and I don't know. I don't really like to fly, but I do, and I have, but mm, I don't, and I'm not big on big ships. I think some of you have heard me say this before, but I love like small boats, rowboats, canoes. I'll even, I know how to like, tip a kayak and roll it, with myself in it and, different things. But yeah, water stuff. That guy that Doug's getting wood from and they live on the lake is afraid of water, and they both like to spear fish in the spear house, ice house, in the winter to go ice fishing, but they are both kind of fearful of water. So, yeah, go figure you live on the lake and you're scared of water. Well, yeah. Remember I tried to teach my adopted mom how to swim, and I got her floating on her back and moving her hands, and I got her to sort of like float. But she'd take my brother and I to like the beach, or we'd be at a pool or whatever when we were little. And my dad was an excellent swimmer. He actually would dive off of big ships in his life. But not my mom. And what good would it do? I asked her. If something had happened to us, what are you gonna do? Well, she said, that we didn't go out in that deep of water that she couldn't have grabbed us, and it's like, well, yeah, I suppose. No, not really. That's not a good idea. That's my thought. Anyway, she did say, like, don't go out that far and these things, to us when we were, that's still goofy. Can't swim and your kids are at a lake. Yeah. I almost drowned one time. Um, I'd gone out to this dock. I was 12, and there was a lot of currents in that lake, and people had died in that lake. But so I wanted to go out to the raft, and you had to be a really good swimmer. But on the way out there, I did kind of catch some cold stuff from a cold spring in there, and it's sort of like it was like a vortex type of thing. And I went under, and I was losing my breath, and I had trained, from childhood. I can hold my breath a long time, and um, but I lost it. But I started floating to the top, and I could see sunshine. I felt like few times in my life, but this was one, and all my memories did flash before my eyes, the few I had, which was weird as I'm coming up and I can see the sunshine through my eyelids. It's really weird. And then I got up there, I was choking, and I did make it to the raft, and I rested out there for a while before I headed back in and then went home. That almost killed me just going to the beach. My brother was with me too, but yeah, he swam out there. He didn't see what happened to me or anything, but I told him, just leave me alone. I need to rest before I go back in. And yeah, dangerous like. It had been dredged out too on one end. We used to have what they call aqua follies. Like, I don't know if you know who Esther Williams is, but and I took synchronized swimming too, but that's what they did. Choreographed water dancing. But yeah, so they had like a high dive and a medium, and I actually dove off those in the folly. Uh, what would you call it? Like there was a stage and there was places for people to sit, and it was like a pool that was on one side of this lake that was like somewhat enclosed by a wood barrier, and it had been dredged out for these follies that they would do there. And I saw a really cool one um, called The Music Man. Of course, you probably are familiar with that if you have heard of like musicals. Like they got it on a movie, and they used to do it in place, but this was done as an Aqua Follies. And then some friends of ours had a greenhouse and a lot of land there, a lot of land around there, golf courses and stuff. And I used to help out at the greenhouse. So these people called us that own the greenhouse, Masonically connected. A lot of them have their own businesses or are set in society that other people aren't. And but they called. Her name was Vivian. We called her Vi. Gave us a call. Well, the Follies was burning down. It's like, whoa. So I rode my bike down there, and a lot of people around. We were just like freaking out watching it burn down. Don't know what happened, but I don't know. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Just shooting the breeze. I think that's gonna be a while uploading, so this will take me a while to get this uploaded too. And you all have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.